Friends, subscribers, and other strangers. What's up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the first video in this series. Do you know why you do what you do? We're going to explore this topic in detail, but it's to get your mindset going. Do you know why you do what you do? It's very important. So, since this is the first video, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got notifications turned on so you don't miss these or don't forget me every Wednesday and Sunday. You're going to be with me for, if I do 24 of these, that's oh my gosh, that's 12 weeks to get through this, 3 months. It's going to be a lot of information. You're going to have to think a lot. Make some decisions for yourself. Are you ready? All right. Why is why important? Okay, so the beard is not not a philosopher. I'm not a scholar. I'm just a crazy dude on the internet with a beard who has been successful at reselling, and I'm trying to explain to you some of the things that have helped me get through good times, bad times, and create the life that I now love and want. So I did some reading. I know some of y'all are shocked. I'll wait for you to get off the floor. All right, so with a last name like Zilke, you know I'm probably German. So German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, whatever. One of his more famous quotes is, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." That's a profound statement. And so, because the one thing I'm going to tell you, being a reseller is hard. Being self-employed is hard. Okay, well, neither one of them are that hard, but staying in it, staying with it, and all the external pressures and internal pressures, you know, a lot of people give up. A lot of people leave. So you need to know your why in order to endure and persevere. Okay, so this is like the third time I ask you, what is your why? You need to remember this. Hold on to it. It is your strength beyond measure. It is what will get you through this stuff. I'm kind of paraphrasing Southern beard English for old Nietzsche there. Because I'm telling you, without this, the one thing I can tell you about reselling, today, somebody's starting brand new. Today, somebody's thrown in the towel for whatever reason. And there can be a multitude of them. And so what makes the person who perseveres and stays in it different than the one who gives up and leaves? You know, so we're going to talk a little bit about this. Because I will tell you that only when you find your why, where you have the courage, you will find that courage deep inside you to take the risks necessary to get ahead. It'll allow you to stay motivated when the chips are down and move your life into an entirely new trajectory, a more challenging and more rewarding trajectory. That's where I see the difference is. Beard, how do you know this stuff? Well, I'm going to tell you about my life. Some of you have heard this stuff. If you followed me for a long time, these couple examples I'm about to give you are not secrets. I went to University of Alabama. I'm going to give you an early roll tide. I represent all the time. I don't know which way that is. And coming out of university with an accounting degree, the job market was about like it is now. It was a mess. I'm old. That was 1991. Some of y'all probably weren't even born then. So I found a job, assistant manager at a fast food restaurant. I've worked in restaurants through high school and college, something that I had good skills for and knowledge of. And so now I added education, and all of a sudden, within like 4 months, I am a 22-year-old in charge of a $1 million fast food restaurant. I was a general manager at 22. And so I proceeded to work in restaurants in every position imaginable, from district manager. In high school, hell, I was the opening breakfast person. I had a good friend. He is no longer with us. It was one of his biggest joys in life to see me struggle in at 4:30 in the morning to open the restaurant. So met a lot of good people. 25 years, they're good people. That's what I remember about it. I don't really remember the hard times much anymore. I remember so I am a spiritual religious person, and I think that there's a reason I went through that, and it made me who I am today. But I believe in divine appointments, so I've got good friends from back then. Quite a few of them I still keep up with. But at the end of the day, I was very miserable myself. And so I had a meeting with my boss and her boss. They were about to send me to another restaurant to fix because I was no longer, district manager was just too, when you're a social worker for 7 restaurants and 20, 30, 40 employees. Yeah, right. So I'm back to running a training store. And they were going to get me to fix another restaurant. And by this time, I was on my 5th or 6th chain. Every 4 or 5 years, I got this urge to go, I'm miserable. Maybe it's the restaurants. This time was different. I had the crazy thought that maybe it's me. My why has sustained me for 25 years. So, Beard, what's your why? What do you ask? What is your why? My family is my why. I will gladly work hard. I will gladly do whatever it takes to support them and to make sure they have the life that they want. And, my young son has now graduated college, and I'm trying to kick him. Get a job, boy. But the market is tough. So they are my why. They have sustained me through 25 years of me being personally miserable because I tapped into that strength. Okay, but 7, 8 years ago I tapped out. Now, the lovely wife, Johnny, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I got a friend selling cars. I trained her in a restaurant. She said, man, you'll be great at this. You love cars. I do love cars. Tell you anything about them. Sell one? That's a different story. That's a different skill set. Most of you can't imagine that as I talk to this camera and have no issues with it, I'm an introvert. You put an introvert in a position like that, and that was a giant struggle. So after 3 months, I walked away. Now what, she says. We've still got bills. She had fought 2 years for disability. We trimmed a lot of bills, so I don't recommend this way, folks. I recommend you do some planning and set up yourself up financially. So I started the eBay that I've been doing on the side this whole time. I'm like, what if I did this full time? I wonder what would happen. I've been going to yard sales my entire life. I've been looking at stuff, finding stuff, hunting stuff, and loved every minute of it. But the thought never occurred to me, you could do this for a living. Until one day I'd had enough. Okay, so I started doing eBay. I absolutely loved it. Hell, I'm good at this stuff. And all of a sudden, when you're working for yourself and you're happy and you're good at something, wow, right? Ran into Amazon, ran into YouTube. Okay, so all that teaching and stuff I did in restaurants, maybe it was preparing me for this. Teaching on a different scale. I don't know. Now the why is being rewarded as a strength because the problems didn't go away. Frustrations didn't go away just because I switched jobs and I like it now. So why is extraordinarily important. So I'll give you an example, one more example from my previous life, and then we'll wrap this why up. As I was doing eBay, I developed my little strategy. Let's run to Raleigh. I lived in Wilmington, so that's a 2-hour. Let's go to all their Goodwills and find as much stuff as I can and come back and list it. I did that like once a month. One of these times, Mother lived across the street, by the way. I want to go with you. Mother's a hoarder, if y'all don't know that. If she's watching this now, she's shaking her head yes. She buys the tons. She's got a wonderful eye. I got it from somebody, right? But selling it, not so much. Y'all think I've got a death pile. Y'all think I've got a death pile. Okay, so we're about halfway through and she says, hey, can I tell you something? You won't be mad? I'm like, Mother, you've known me longer than anybody. You were there when I started this journey. You can tell me whatever you want. You know the rules. And she said, Well, for the past couple of years, I really hadn't recognized who lived across the street. I, you were not you. You were some giant asshole. You were always in a bad mood, miserable. Can I tell you, it's nice to have my son back. At this point, I've been living across the street for 8 years. And she said, the longer you stayed in that business and you're now closer to where I can see it, I see how miserable you are. And so when your own mother, can see the difference, everybody around you can see the difference. So if you're not happy, you're going to have to focus. The next, we're going to talk about dreams, we're going to talk about fear. But the one thing I can tell you is when you add your why to your passion, when those two meet and your skill set, you put those three in an intersection where your passion and skill set and your why for doing things can multiply them, the sky is the limit. You're set to be who you've always wanted to be, and the rewards, and you don't see the obstacles because you are so focused on what you're doing because the why has driven you so much. So one thing I tell you, you've got a lot to consider. Is self-employed right for you? Is reselling right for you? Your skill sets, match both of those. They're both tough. They're both seem to be kind of a lonely existence because, it's you against the world. It's you fighting, carving your own way. But they're both extraordinarily rewarding, and they're both worth it. But they're not for everybody. And so, you need to analyze do you want to do this to be one of the ones that just are quitting today? Or is this something that you want to sustain through? You thought, I can see everybody's confused. You thought you were going to tune in and the beer was just going to give you some simple answers and you were going to move about your day and be a successful reseller. Is that what you were thinking? My answers and my experiences are mine. You've got to stop comparing yourself to others and set your own course. What you want out of it. We're gonna talk about dreams. That's I've got 3 videos we're gonna do. Then we'll start the meat of as we build this foundation, mental foundation. We're gonna talk about dreams, and we're gonna talk about one of the bigger obstacles is we're gonna talk about fear. Go ahead and get fear. We're going to stomp fear and get him out of the way. He's going to show up. Sometimes he's good. Most of the time, he's holding you back. So stop comparing yourself to others. Your life, your journey, your desires, your ambitions, and the business you're going to build. If you hang in here with me and this is something you want to do, your business is not going to look like mine. Your business is not going to look like anybody else you see on YouTube or even if you know resellers in person. Because you're an individual. Your skills and your passion and your desire and how you see where you want to go are your own. And so, that's what I want to start encouraging you now. The worst thing you can do is look on social media and see somebody on Instagram post some big picture of boxes to the wall. I can go in the building right now and build boxes and cover that damn building and put stickers on them with nothing in them. You'd never know. You think, damn, that bearded picker is killing it. If you've watched my videos, I've struggled the past 2 or 3 months of burnout. I could put some empty boxes out there. I could show you some big sales numbers. I could show you whatever. But, you don't know what they paid for it. You don't know what their employees. You don't know what their rent and expenses. So stop comparing yourself to others. If you've got your goals and you've got your desires and your dreams, no matter what they do, if you accomplish yours, you win, your why wins, right? I want you to build that solid foundation, no illusions. You're going to need to persevere for some tough times because it's hard to get started. Restrictions on Amazon and limiting amounts you can sell on eBay to get started. These things are all issues everybody dealt with. Well, most everybody dealt with. I've been on eBay so long, I don't have any limits on the sales. But if you don't fight through the bad times, you don't get to the good times. If you don't understand why you're doing things and what motivates you and what your passion is, if you don't understand all these things, you don't get through the bad times and persevere And when I say bad times, I'm not talking like super. Sourcing is fun. I love it. It's what I'm good at. Shipping? Oh, hell yeah, I'm good at it. Do I like it? No. I got to do accounting. Okay, well, I used to really do accounting. I'm kind of an accountant now, Jared. I should treat that man better and get him his numbers faster because he's taking a lot off my plate. There are ways to go about building this business correctly to emphasize your strengths. You can have employees, you can build a monster, or you can be like me and just be one person. I'm like Knight Rider. I'm like one man against the world. Okay, that's enough rambling. If you're still with me, how about giving me a thumbs up? You have a lot to think about. Start dreaming now, because we're going to talk about fear next. Maybe dreams. I don't know. I need to leave some mystery in this, right? One of the two of them is Sunday, and then the following one is Wednesday. So those are the next two we're going to talk about. I'll see you in the next one. I've got faith. I know that if you've gotten this far, you're with me, and you want to know. If you want to know the secrets of what's made the bear successful, you really got to know what makes him tick, and understand why he does what he does, so it makes sense. Roll Tide.